Thank you for joining us, sticking with us, and to reward you, it's Killer Instinct time. Joining me on stage is Ken, and we are going to be talking about werewolves fighting against cyborg warriors.
That's right.
Because Killer Instinct is coming back. It's coming to the Xbox One as a launch title?
Yes.
Excellent. And you guys are showing it off here at the show floor.
Yes, we are.
So how has that been going? Do you have a gauge for how people are enjoying just like beating the crap out of each other?
Indeed. So we've been showing, obviously, at every show since we announced at E3. And the cadence we've been going for is show Jago and Saberwolf at E3, and we announced Glacius, which we have some video of today.
Excellent.
We went to EVO, which was just last weekend.
EVO, big fighting game. If you folks don't know what EVO is, you should have been on GameSpot that last weekend because it was awesome.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
So, and then we showed Glacius as playable, and we teased the next character, which we were going to show playable at Gamescom and at PAX, and then we have another character we'll tease, go to Tokyo Game Show, and kind of keep driving that all the way up to launch.
Very cool, and I think we're actually seeing some footage from EVO here right now, Jago versus Glacius. And I remember Glacius from Killer Instinct being a lot smoother than his sort of jaggedy counterpart here. How has it been for you guys updating, sort of reimagining the character models for these iconic characters?
So what we're trying to do, for those familiar with fighting games, I worked on the original KI, on KI2. Every character I built was basically a rushdown. So that's a character that wants to get right up in your face and beat you as fast as they can. That's Jago, it's Saberwolf. But what we want to do this time around is kind of complete the triangle. There's really three types of fighters in most fighting games. You have zoner, you have grappler, and you have rushdown. And you have hybrids that sit kind of in between those peaks.
Yep.
Glacius, we decided, although many people loved him, and I'm a huge Glacius fan, let's try and make Glacius into a zoner. Someone who has ability to combo you from far away. And you're seeing right there, he did the ground blossom and then auto-doubled from 3/4 of the way across the screen. You can actually do full combos from someone who's across the screen. So a lot of what we did with Glacius was, how do you zone? How do you keep somebody away from you? His throw is a good example. Someone like Jago, when he goes to throw you, he's going to put you close to him so he can then attack you as you're getting up.
Yep.
Glacius will throw you as far away as he possibly can, all the way across the screen. And a good player will then use that to set up an opener from across the screen.
And so you're really, these sort of terms you're using, the rushdown character, the zoner, the grappler. You guys are into, the nitty-gritty of fighting philosophy and fighting mechanics, which, a lot of fighting game players really appreciate, but it can also be a challenge to get there for someone who's coming new to the game.
Yes.
So how do you sort of pave that path for people coming to Killer Instinct?
So the original Killer Instinct, one of the goals was to try and allow people to do big combos.
Yeah.
Build a system where you could do something that didn't quite require the same amount of, I know exactly how to do this move on exactly this frame, right? Which is what a lot of fighting games are about. KI is definitely about timing. You need to understand when to do moves and how. But to get a big long combo, it's actually pretty simple. So we're going to build a very in-depth practice mode into the game, so that anybody, really, if you're familiar with a controller, you should be able to learn how to do anything from 10 up to 50 or more hits, at least 50? When you're talking about the ultra combo, yes.
All right, Ken, that is what I like to hear. So when you guys bring this game to a show like San Diego Comic-Con and put it out on the show floor, it's very different than showcasing it at EVO, a conference or a convention for fighting game fans and aficionados. And so how did it perform at EVO? You guys are sort of new there, so that you don't have people who have been playing this game for years and years and years, but you still are putting it into the hands of some very skilled players.
Yes. Well, again, the skilled players pick it up in minutes. And one of my favorite stories from EVO was a guy came into the booth the first day, started playing at 8:45, and went undefeated until 5 o'clock at night.
Whoa!
And at that point, he definitely knew what he was doing. This guy named Todd Peters. And we played him from the team, and he actually won 1 out of 3 against our best player. Now you contrast that with on the show floor here. Again, if you understand how to play fighting games, there's sort of a language. You have fireball, dragon punch, hurricane kick type moves.
Sure.
You have charge moves. And if somebody understands that vernacular, they can just jump right in and you can go, okay, do a hurricane kick, and then when you hit them, just hit any other button, that's an auto double, you'll get some more hits. And then try a fireball, and look, you did 6 or 7 hits. And once they start experimenting, anybody that understands a fighting game can do 10, 12 hits. Now you take Saberwolf, was very intentionally in all 3 of the Killer Instinct games meant to be the beginner's character.
Okay.
If you don't understand anything about a fighting game, what Saberwolf does is all of his special moves are away towards moves. So away is how you block. So it's kind of the first thing you want to teach somebody.
You're setting up the blocking.
Basically,
like,
just go
that's going to
away,
keep you alive.
towards, hit any button, you get a special move. Hit any other button, you get another auto double. Then away towards again with any button, and you get some end finishers.
And
so here you're watching Jago versus Saberwolf.
Yep.
And you can see someone there hitting a few regular punches there. Jump in, get an auto double. He actually let his combo drop. But our goal is kind of exactly what you said. If I were to look at the 3 shows, E3 is a lot of hardcore gamers, but maybe the percentage of fighting game freaks is lower.
Yep.
Evo is absolutely, let's go show the hardest of hardcore fighters and see how they react. And you go to Comic-Con, and I was seeing people a nice mix of people that knew the game 18 years ago, obviously play modern fighting games, and then there's groups that had never played a game, and yet they're there having fun, banging out little combos with Saberwolf.
Very cool. So, each show you're bringing out more characters, and Gamescom is the next one. Folks can get that announcement.
Yes.
But that leads me to let's talk a little bit about how you guys are going to be launching Killer Instinct on the Xbox One, because you've got a bit of a different strategy than just it's going to be available, you can buy it for this amount of money and get the whole game.
Yes.
So lay it out for us a little bit, because there was a little bit of I'll leave it in your hands to clear it up for folks. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to announce the exact pricing strategy when we get to Gamescom.
Sure.
But the idea is, I want to get as many people playing fighting games as used to play fighting games. I think there's a huge fighting game community now.
Yep.
But if you think about when Street Fighter II first came out, the numbers were bigger. More people played fighting games on SNES and Genesis than today play on modern consoles.
Oh, really?
So the idea was, how do I build a fighting game that the fighting game community can just go buy? They get the whole game. We'll obviously have more characters that come out over time. But what if somebody is just curious? Well, we're going to take Jago, and you could say he's a demo. Some people call it free-to-play. It's not a free-to-play game. I'll come back to that in a second. Jago is a demo where you have everything.
Yep.
So what's free is you have Jago's practice mode. You can fight against any AI character. But more importantly, you're in the one shard of the online game community. So you can take your Jago out and fight against anybody, even if it's a character that you, quote, don't have.
Okay.
So it allows you to see and experience all the other characters. So let's say you didn't want to buy everything, and you decide that you want, well, I kind of like Glacius. Maybe I should, oh, look, you can buy just Glacius.
Okay, so you can slowly expand your arsenal, your repertoire.
And again, I think if you think about even the hardest of hardcore fighting game fans, what they tend to do is you buy this game, it's got X number of characters. You're great at one, you dabble in 2 or 3 more. It's only really the super hardcore that know every character and every fighting
get deep with every character, yeah.
So to drive the most people back into the fighting game community as possible, we want to make it easy for people to come in and have some fun.
Very cool, Ken. Yeah, I like that a lot. Just paving the way, getting folks. You're sort of like leaving the door open and inviting them in, and that's a real nice philosophy, because fighting games are incredibly fun, but the competitive nature of them can sometimes be a little daunting. I know I personally am fairly terrible at fighting games, but I really appreciate that effort on the part of the fighting game community to sort of open those doors and reach out.
So another thing we're doing with Xbox One, we obviously had matchmaking this generation.
Yep.
But matchmaking this generation tended to be exclusively about skill. And we obviously want to move that forward. You should be playing against people that are at your same skill level.
Sure.
But we're also going to take other things into account. Like player behavior. If someone is always online cursing, then they might start ending up in my skill level people that act like I do.
Oh, okay.
More importantly, we're also looking more broadly. If the player wants, they can do things like, I play a whole bunch of Call of Duty, for example. And I also play Killer Instinct.
Oh,
well,
interesting.
Maybe you could match me with people that also play Call of Duty, and then let me know that. We have the friends system is significantly larger on Xbox One than it used to be. You can basically have as many friends as you want, but you can also follow people. And it's easy once you've played someone to see, Call of Duty, that's what I always play, Call of Duty. And so I think some people will start to see patterns, I think, but it's just way easier to make a friend. Maybe you meet some guy online, you play Killer Instinct 8 or 10 games, and then you say, I gotta run because I'm gonna go play Rise, my other favorite game. I was gonna go play Rise, let's go. And you can actually party up with a button press and then launch Rise right from the party, and maybe that guy that you met on Killer Instinct now becomes one step closer to being somebody that you might
That's
not hate.
And and at E3, actually, you guys also showed off another part of the Xbox One's new functionality in using the sort of, you were using like a highlight reel mechanic,
Yes.
where you sort of, it auto-selected clips from your fight, and then you share that video with your friends.
Yes, and it's not automatic.
It's not
So
automatic, so
what-
you get to pick your moments.
Yes, and so we actually showed a video of that this morning at our panel. It's called Project Upload. So the idea is you're always recording. So we have a ring buffer game DVR basically. So the last 5 minutes of any game you're playing is always being stored locally on your hard drive. And you can decide, you know, let me give you two scenarios. So scenario one, I'm playing online. I just did the best thing ever. I can't pause. I'm playing online.
Sure.
You can say, Xbox, record that. It'll grab the last 30 seconds and save it for you to play with later.
Okay.
So now let's say you're not playing online and you do the best combo or you have the best fight ever. You can finish after that fight. That thing you just did is within the last 5 minutes. You can go into that last 5 minutes and scrub it for the best stuff. I want that 4 seconds and this 10 seconds and this 30 seconds and then I want that ultra combo. We have things, basically a wrapper, so you can put it before, you know, something that comes up before and after. The video we showed said best of Evo.
Yep.
And you can also, if you'd like, voice over and even put in some stuff from Kinect camera, do picture in picture.
Very cool. You guys are really, you know, as a launch title, do you feel you kind of have the privilege or responsibility to sort of flex your muscle on the new system, sort of show off that tech? That's going to be very cool for folks to experience this fall. Of course, exact launch date not announced, but it's going to be available for the Xbox One right when that comes out.
That's right.
Very cool. Killer Instinct. Ken, thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure. Nice to see you.
Nice to chat about Killer Instinct. Folks, we're going to take a look now at another Homer Rabara special from the show floor. Checking out something called Rubies.